Here we go. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Super quick intro from me about Jordan. So some of you know Jordan. He's a longtime trusted email marketing connection, but also a good friend of ours. We've had many life experiences together before we added you in. We were just joking about a few. Um, so Jordan's basically the go-to guy for us whenever we have an email question or if our client is looking for something on the email. And the reason you kind of find these people in your life is that you've seen them do something and then they've done it repeatedly over and over again for you or for your clients. And therefore you just get that level of trust. You're like, okay, that's the go-to guy for us. That's Jordan. He's from Dublin, just outside Dublin. So not too far away from us either, which is great. And the reason I asked him to come here and speak with you guys today was to just give a little bit more on what people can be doing for this Black Friday. So we did it a couple of weeks ago with CRO. It was super valuable. Some tips that you can do for CRO for Black Friday. And now we want to do it for email. So we're just ticking boxes. Like we're already helping with creatives. Now, what else can you be doing across ads and e-com and email in order to pull a lever that's going to help you? So Jordan, that's my intro. Super short and sweet. I would love to let you introduce yourself and dive into some sauce.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate everything you've done for me as well. You've been great, a great friend in the game, and you guys are building a great business as well. Um, so I don't want to talk much about myself or anything like that. Just to break it down, we have an email agency called Email for Brands, and we just help e-commerce brands with email, some SMS, and for some other bigger brands, we do some retention services as well. But I'll keep it super simple. So I'm gonna do a screen share. I was going to do slides and do a fancy presentation, but to be totally honest, I prefer to just get into the details with the stuff that's going to bring you the best wins. And there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm going to show you today, give you some templates as well, and then we'll do some Q&A and I can try and help people where they're currently at right now with their email. Okay. I did already mention it, but if you want, follow the same structure with your traffic light, your URL, and then what industry you're currently in. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a screen share here. Paul, can you see my screen?
Yep, got it.
Okay, perfect. So just what we're going to cover today, I'm just going to do the intro. I've already went through the rating system. I'm going to dive straight into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, just straight into what we recommend doing and what we're going to be doing for all of our clients. Then depending on time, we'll go over like email structure and strategy. If everyone has a bunch of stuff set up already, I'm not really going to go into too much detail here. I'll just do from a high level overview. And then I really want to get into Q&A to try and help people that have actually took time out of their day to show up today, because I know it's a busy time of year for everyone. So I want to respect the people that are on the call and give them, feedback and answer their questions. So, and if anyone does have any questions or like something catches your mind throughout this call, just type it into chat. And then at the end, I'll get around to it just so we can keep the flow throughout this call. But I'll try and keep it short and sweet. Like I said, I want to respect everyone's time. So Black Friday. Now, I'm going to dive into this, presuming that people have a lot of their email stuff set up already. Okay. Like they have flows set up, they're sending regular campaigns. This is extra stuff that you can do to maximize your revenue and especially your profits during Black Friday. Okay. And my goal here is that you're going to walk away being like, oh my God, we're not doing enough with email and we need to do more. Okay. So I'm going to walk through this. It doesn't look like there's much here, but this list I'm about to show you can make you an extra couple of 100K if you're doing some numbers, an extra couple of million this Q4. Okay. So the first thing that I recommend is re-engaging your inactive profiles over the next week. This is super basic, but if you're sitting on a big list of a couple of 100,000 or a couple of million people, you want to re-engage them. And you can do this a couple of ways. You can even unsuppress old profiles that you manually suppress to get them back in. We're doing that with one client. But just take a look at your best performing emails in regards to open rate and click rate over the last 6 months, even a year, even 2 years, and just resend those emails to inactive profiles. So people that potentially haven't opened or clicked an email in the last 180 days. And if you do that, you'll start to see, some people getting re-engaged, and then you can try and push more specific messaging to those people that are opening, like, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while. Like, here's some new products we launched over the last 6 months, or like some of our best sellers or something like that. So the goal is just to re-engage people here. Sometimes you'll get really bad open rates. You might get like 10% open rates, 5% open rates. That's okay, because you're just trying to re-engage people. It's not the end of the world. Okay. So that's thing number one, is to just broaden your list to who you're going to send to. Because if you're only sending to 50% of your list that's engaged, like you're missing out on 50% of your list that you could be sending to, which in theory is going to double your email revenue. Okay. So that's thing number one, is just spend time re-engaging your list. The next thing that I recommend is have a campaign calendar. So obviously we do this internally for all of our clients in Asana, and we have like a full system that we use. But if you don't have a campaign calendar, like you can use like Klaviyo's standard one, but it's just not really good enough. You need something where you can plan as a team and you can tie in with your social team, with your ads team, with your website people, and with email to make sure that you're all aligned on send dates, on send times, and when things are happening. Okay. So I have an example built out here, and I'll send in this link after. I'm not going to send it in now because everyone's going to go clicking away to different things. Paul, you recognize this sheet? Do you know where this is from?
This is old school. Is this Trank, maybe? Is
Nah,
this
this is Sam's warm up calendar back from the day, but we
Sam Ovens?
yeah, we
Really good
re-engineered
this.
it. So I'll share this with everyone, and this is really good for a year level, where this view is basically, now this is from October to December. This should be January till December, really, but we just done this for Q4 for some of our clients. Now it doesn't look like there's much here. Some of our clients have this thing looking like a rainbow, and there's different key dates and colors in here. But this is your high level overview where you can tie in like key things, like you can see here Black Friday, Cyber Monday, standard delivery cutoff, express delivery cutoff, new product launches, early access, and then like Cyber Monday, right? So, like I said, you want to hop in here, fill out all these different calendars or fill out all these different days, and ideally do this on a yearly level. But for the next 2 months, you can just do it for November and December. And then what you want to do then is hop into this view, which is your monthly view, and then you can see the days and you can see what's being sent. Okay, so now some clients leverage this a lot, other clients don't leverage it as much, and we do have another kind of calendar view for Asana that we share with clients. But I recommend hopping in here and planning out what you're going to send, right? Obviously, it's the 30th now, so you kind of want to get this filled pretty quickly. And a lot of you guys probably already know what you're going to be sending and when. You might just have it in a doc and you don't visually have it in a calendar. So I'll share this. Ideally, you want to be sending an email every single day. I'll talk about that. And then you can see the structure here. So you just do the name of the campaign, and then you can add some details, and then the content assets, you can add that here as well. Okay. And then you have like main objectives or goals down here, and then other notes. So internally for us, we use like these emojis to basically just give a better reference for what the email is. Okay. So I'll be jumping back and forth in here, and this isn't the amount of campaigns. This is just a blank template, right? So I'll kind of go into more details there. So that's the campaign calendar. And I recommend sending a minimum of 30 campaigns in November, like absolute minimum. The more, the better. Okay. And the reason why, and a lot of people are afraid to send more campaigns because they're afraid of unsubscribe rates. I'll get around to that as well, on how you can, control that. But the more you're going to send, and we realized this last year when for one brand last year, we sent 10 emails on Black Friday. So we sent more emails in one day than some brands would do in like a month or a week, right? Because every email we sent, it brought in like an extra 5K. It was like 5K, 3K, 2K, 5K. And it's like, why wouldn't we keep sending more emails? Because it's just bringing in more revenue. And in Black Friday, people are literally, especially on Black Friday, like on the 29th, people are literally opening their email app on their phone wanting to spend money. Like they have a budget, they want to spend money. And it's so competitive with different brands that literally every time they refresh, they're going to have more and more emails. You want to just keep resending or sending more emails to be at the top of the list. We done this last year. We didn't do it for all of our clients, but some that gave us a bit of flexibility. We done it, and we made them an absolute load of cash. So highly recommend doing that. If we were to like look at this calendar view, I would say any days you're launching anything, like push 2 to 3 emails or resend every email to people that didn't open or click. And then like on Black Friday, you want to push like 5 emails plus, and the same as all the other days. It all comes down to how much you can create. Obviously, it's going to cost you guys a lot of money if you're paying someone or you're paying an agency to do this, but more is honestly better in November. So if you take away one thing from this call, it's just instead of sending 10 emails a month, send 10 over 48 hours. When you launch your Black Friday sale, you'll make more money. But obviously, you also want to keep an eye on your metrics. If you're sending a bunch of emails and you're not making money, then something's wrong, right? So you probably want to pull back on the volume. Next is just have a good mix of plain text and design emails. So this is pretty simple, but it's just a lot of brands just don't do it. Like plain text emails are super simple. You can literally do up 10 different plain text emails in the space of like, an hour or 2 hours. So get your copywriter to do a bunch of plain text emails and get a bunch of design ones done as well. And ideally, you want to have a look at what emails you've sent over the year, what were the best performing ones, and then try and recreate them for Black Friday. Okay. And I'll talk about different campaign ideas and how you can um, different campaign styles in a couple of minutes after I go through this. The next thing is to customize your unsubscribe pages. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't work as good as it used to before, but us humans we're engineered to just do like things the way we used to based on our habits, right? So now with the new DMARC policies, you can unsubscribe from the top of emails. Okay. For majority of like if you're using Klaviyo, someone can just click the top unsubscribe if you're using Gmail. However, a lot of people will still unsubscribe by the bottom of the email. Okay. So if someone does click the unsubscribe button because you're sending too much volume, we then want to send them to a customized unsubscribe page that looks like this. Okay. Now, there's a bunch of other examples in here, and I'll show you some, but 99% of brands, it looks like this. Okay. Absolutely horrendous. Absolutely just looks terrible. When we customize it like this and we make it look like a landing page and we're trying to overcome the objections on why we're sending too many emails. For some brands, we get creative in here and we like add in a GIF if you want. We want to try and push them to follow us on different social media platforms. So we're getting them to click off of the unsubscribe page. If they want, then they can unsubscribe. Right. For some other brands, we throw in an offer there. So here, if they tap and shop here, they get 15% off and it automatically applies at checkout. For some other ones, we push even more aggressive where, we push even bigger offers and we make this section. I'll show you. We make this section look like a danger zone. Like you really don't want to do it, right? Now this is a bit more aggressive. I don't recommend this if you're really trying to build a brand, but that's just an example. Another thing you can then do is on the unsubscribe confirmation page, you can customize this as well. So when they click unsubscribe, you then hit them with an offer where it's like, click here, follow my page, or click this, you'll be resubscribed and you'll get 20% off your order. Okay. And we done this for some brands last year. And between these two codes for one brand that done a couple of million in revenue over Q4, I think it was like 15K came from the unsubscribe codes, right? Literally free money that people were they were literally gone to like, they want to forget about your brand. They wanted to remove communication and then they end up coming back and spending money, right? So this is a really good win. If you just done this, like this will literally take you 15 minutes to do this. You'll make a bunch of money from it. Like I said, this year probably won't work as good because of the DMARC policies this year because people can unsubscribe at the top, but still about 50% of people are unsubscribing at the bottom of emails. Okay. The next is use deadline timers. If your countdowns and deadlines. So countdown before a sale goes live. So for most of our clients, for Black Friday countdown or early access countdown, we'll probably do like 6 emails, 24 hours, 12 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. In my opinion, the more the better. So you want to do the countdown, but then also leverage deadline timers. We've A/B tested this, and deadline timers do work better. You don't want to use them all the time, but for times like Black Friday, when your sale is actually going to end, you can use deadline timers, and you can use mail timers here, or you can actually just create GIFs, and then you can just add the GIFs to your email, and then you can use it that way, right? The next thing I recommend is send from different people's names. So you want to send from different personalities from the brand and then also the brand. So for example, if I was to give the example of, let's just say Paul from Lifelike, obviously, this is for e-commerce brands, but I'll give Paul's example. Paul should be sending from Paul at Lifelike. He should be sending from ideally a girl's name then. So like Gemma at Lifelike, and then also send from Lifelike. And the two different personalities, Paul has a different personality to Gemma. So Gemma could be someone that's very helpful and like, top of customer success and very motivative and things like that. And then Paul is just someone that's straight to the point, trying to like get money out of you or give you some value, compared to Gemma's not trying to give value. She's just trying to be really nice and helpful. And when you do this, you can see people will resonate different with different people. So I recommend doing this. Plus, when you do it, you can send more volume because you're not just sending from Lifelike, you're sending from different people. So the sender names are different. And we've just seen that by doing this, unsubscribes generally aren't as high. Okay. So once again, work with your copywriter on this, but it just kind of play around, have fun with it. Humor works great as well. So just kind of like, don't be too serious. You know, people are going to forget about your email like tomorrow. So if you make a mistake, or if the email doesn't work, it's not the end of the world, right? But have some fun with it. And the next thing, and this is a little bit more advanced, this crushes it if you have some sort of high ticket in the back end. But you can do reply selling, where you can have your CTA as a reply, and then when people reply, you can try and sell them, give them a discount code, or if you have any sort of back end high ticket offer for a couple of grand, like let's say, this works good if you sell supplements, but then you also sell coaching. You can then, so you get to someone like, reply if you want to learn more about this thing. And then when they reply, you like reply back once or twice in a thread, and then you CC in an authority figure, and then you get the authority figure to get them on a call or sell them. So this is like really advanced, but it absolutely crushes it if you can do it right. Um, and before I go into flows, is everyone understanding what I'm going through here? Because I know I'm kind of ranting on. So just give me a little thumbs up or something if everything's good here.
This is classmate. Some really, really good actionable points here. Hope people are picking up on them. Great
Oh,
stuff.
okay, perfect. So that's reply selling. If you want to know more on this, you can reach out to us and we can kind of help you with it. Not many brands do this. They do it for like giveaways and different things. But it's a really good way to kind of get more money out of your list and to build more relationships with people that are on your list. Okay. So next is kind of like Black Friday, Cyber Monday flows and what you should do differently in your flows. So there's kind of two different things you can do here for your abandoned checkout. You can create a whole new abandoned checkout flow and theme it around Black Friday. Now, this all depends on what offer are you doing. Is it like a free product? Is it a threshold? Is it done by a discount or not? Are you disabling other discounts? So this really varies on the brand. But for some clients, we are creating new abandoned checkouts that are just themed all around the Black Friday offer if they only have one core offer. And then for other brands, what we're doing is we're adding universal elements in Klaviyo to the flows. So we'll add a universal element to the header and then to the footer. And then what this means is we can then add in like a Black Friday content block, and then that's going to change for every single email inside of the flows. So it's a very easy way to just like add something once and then it changes everywhere. And then on Cyber Monday, you can change it again. For Christmas, you can change it again. For a delivery cutoff, you can change it again. If you're selling gift cards, you can change it again. So it's a really, really good way to basically just leverage one single block that's going to change on every single email inside of all your flows. Now, it takes a little bit of time to set up. Once you have it set up once, you can use this all the time. And we even use it sometimes when people do product launches or different things like that. Okay. So you can use your standard abandoned checkout and just add in the universal element if you want. That's like another thing you can do, and we'll be doing that for some people as well. The next is to shorten the time frame on all of your front end flows. So, for example, let's just say you have an abandoned cart, a browse abandonment, or your abandoned checkout. Let's say if your normal time delay is like 6 hours and then 1 day and then 2 days, I'd recommend just shortening that to like sending 3 emails within 24 hours, because people are buying a lot of different things during Black Friday and we want to try and get them while they're hot. So instead of your abandoned checkout email waiting 3 hours, have it wait 10 or 15 minutes, have the next one after an hour, have the one after that after 3 hours, just to try and get more volume while people are actively trying to buy your products. Okay. So that's kind of on the front end. In regards to pop-up, different things like that, we recommend still having a pop-up for people that aren't on your email list, and then just trying to tie that back into your Black Friday offer if possible. Okay. Then this is more post-purchase stuff. Have a new or change your current thank you email to a Black Friday thank you email, where you're basically just addressing a couple of things. You're addressing that there's going to be a small processing delay, address that there might be a small delay in your product being delivered, and even in support, because we're doing a lot of volume, but it's Black Friday. People are going to understand because of these things, because there's a delay, because your shipping is going to be a little bit later, and because support's going to be later. We're actually going to give you this free product, or we're going to give you this percentage off if you come back and buy within the next 12 hours. Okay. So you can hit them with a cheeky little offer that way. Now, some brands don't want to do this, but at the end of the day, if you're in this to make more money, and like obviously some brands are trying to build brand value compared to some guys are just in it, e-com guys are just trying to make a bunch of cash. These things definitely do work. Okay. The next thing I recommend is, and logistically, this one can be a little bit harder to work based on your fulfillment, But if you have a post purchase upsell for Black Friday, so let's say you have a Black Friday bundle that's like, let's just say a supplement bundle, and let's say they purchased it, but let's say there was like a secondary bundle that they didn't buy, you can then email them in a flow, and we generally do like, before we process your order, as a subject line, and then like, very important, please read. It's like, hey Paul, I noticed your order come true and you purchased our main Black Friday bundle, but we noticed you didn't purchase the other one. On average, like 74% of customers that have came through so far have purchased the two bundles. You can come back and get the second bundle here for like 20% off or something like that, right? So you're just pushing people again to buy more of the product because they're in that buying mind frame. Okay. And then the last thing, kind of post purchase, that I recommend for Black Friday flows is to, and I actually got this from Ezra Firestone and we tested it last year and it done pretty good, is run a delivered win back flow with the Black Friday Cyber Monday offer or better. Now, this only works if you have fast delivery. If your delivery time is 2 weeks or 3 weeks, this isn't going to work. If you have delivery time that's like a week, let's say you're selling the UK and you ship from the UK and you have a good fulfillment center, this is going to work great. And then when they get the product delivered, when you get that confirmation, you can use that as your trigger in the flow. You then want to run the same offer again. And you can run this over like 3 days and send like 2 or 3 emails a day, because people are gonna, they're excited. They're excited they purchased your product. They're seeing these upsells in the customer thank you and then these other upsells, but they don't take them. They've been telling people about your product. They finally get it. They're excited. They're like, you know what? I'm actually going to buy more for my friend. I'm going to buy more for a family member, or I'm just going to buy more for myself, right? And then you'll get even more money out of people. So like, there's a lot there, but you don't have to go implement all these things. Even for some of our clients, we're not going to implement all of these because different clients are on different levels. But if you do have a big email list and you do have a big team behind you, if you implement all these things, you're going to make, a bunch more extra money. Like, it's just it's impossible not to. Okay, so I'm going to stop here on Black Friday. And if anyone has any questions, just work away, because after this, it's more like more basic stuff, just kind of going over some email, like different email things. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, work away. And Paul, if you've anything to add, work away as well.
I did have one question because I am thinking when you're speaking, I'm thinking about like our clients and thinking of, Luke, Harry, Will, George, you guys, like this is perfect for you guys. A lot of this stuff, especially Harry with the teas, like some of this on delivery trigger for the friends, like it just plays perfectly into your product and what it is. But my question was actually gonna be, yes, there's not that much time to set up everything. What's like the biggest lever that some guys can pull if they don't have a big team that's gonna be most impactful? Let's say they can't do everything you've just listed here. What's like the one or two things they absolutely must do?
Yeah, so it's all going to depend on where they're at. If they have a huge list or they're just starting out, like, it really depends on where you're at. But I'd say that having your core flow set up is the most important thing. And then after that, once you have those done, then just send in consistent campaigns. And this can be a mix of text and design emails, which shouldn't take you long at all.
Awesome. Cheers. Any other questions?
Does anyone else have any other questions?
All good. If you do get one, throw it in the chat. Jordan
Yeah,
can add
perfect.
the next pause.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. And is all this stuff making sense? Is people getting some value from what I said there? Maybe just like hit me with an emoji or something so I can get some sort of feedback loop here.
It's banging.
Okay.
Jordan, can you also do can you zoom in on the dock? Must
Yeah,
be
for
getting old
sure.
in the 30s here. I can't really struggling to read
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So what I'm going to go through next is, if there's no questions, I'm just going to go through a couple of things. So I'll go through pop-ups, flows, campaigns, segments, A/B tests, and tech. Right. I'm going to do this really, really quickly and just from a high level. So pop-ups, and if anyone has had a call with me before, they know that I always talk about this. But I'm not going to read this. I'll share the stock with everyone. They can kind of have a look at this. But with our pop-up, we want to be pushing for 5 or 10% opt-in, right? Always A/B test this. A/B tests are kind of, I have some resistance to A/B tests because we've done it so much this year and we haven't had too much data on campaigns. But with pop-ups, A/B tests is one of the most important tests that you can do inside of your account. And we've always seen that free products work much better in regards to opt-in, and most of the time it works better in regards to your margin as well. So we like to do a free product with their order, and then we like to do a two-step question pop in or pop up. Okay. So an example of this is here. So this is like you ask the question first, like, hey, do you want a discount to save on your order? Yes, of course. Okay, claim your discount now. Super, super simple, right? This two-step opt-in style works much better than just displaying the offer straight away. We don't tell them the discount, so it makes them curious. And then just the way it's like, they might click the first one straight away thinking they're going to get the discount straight away. This just works better. Another one is like this one. So asking a question on a free gift, like yes, claim it now, no, next time. And then the same thing again, to claim the free gift, we're not telling them what it is. We have to send them the details over in the welcome email. And then in the welcome email, we've tested this, just make it super clear, like give them 3 steps. Step 1, add this product. Step 2, you have to spend this much. So you have to have a threshold. Step 3, add your details or add in this code to complete your order. If you do that, you'll have a pretty good pop-up and things like that. And the reason why it works, it's better for your margins as well. Let's say, for example, your AOV on your store is $100, right? If you give away 10% off, it's going to cost you $10 compared to if we give away a product that's only going to cost you $2, your cost of goods are only $2. As long as it doesn't, drive up the shipping weight, then you're going to save $8 per order for every person that orders from your welcome. So the economics just work out way, way better. So highly recommend doing, testing this if you don't have this style currently for your pop-up. Okay. So that's pop-ups. Flows then. So I'll pull up this in Figma just because it's easier, but we basically do flows in phases. Okay. So I'll zoom out a little bit here, but we basically have phase 1 to 4. So generally when we work with someone, we'll build like one phase every single month. So phase 1 is your most important. And then as the phases go on, they make a little bit less in revenue, right? So phase 1 is your welcome flow, abandon checkout, and customer thank you flow. These are your money makers. To be fair, they're going to bring in probably over half of your flow revenue. And the biggest mistakes I see here with brands, even like 7 or 8 figure brands, is that they're not testing enough and they don't have their flows long enough. Okay. They're kind of like the two biggest things. They don't have 5+ emails in here. Most brands only have like 2 or 3. Okay. And then customer thank you. A lot of people abuse this. They don't do it, but you only get one chance to make a good first impression for your customer. So you want to, thank them. You want to give them details on their order, do tips and tricks, add some humor in there, share some funny stories, and push for reviews, push your social media. You want to just like try and deliver a really good customer experience. Okay. Phase 2, browse abandonment, post-purchase upsell, win back 3-day deadline. I've kind of already talked about the upsell. Browse abandonment just triggers when people are coming back browsing your site. And then the win back, we found that having a deadline to a win back and sending emails aggressively and having a big offer just works much better. And then you want to have your win back scheduled based on your data. So let's say your data tells you that the time between a first and a second time customer is 62 days. Then you want to have this flow trigger after 62 days. Okay. Because it's what the data tells us rather than people just throwing a random number here and hope for the best. And phase 3, abandoned cart flow, which is different to an abandoned checkout. This only triggers for people that are on your list, and it's a cart trigger, not a checkout trigger. VIP customer. So this can be based on the amount they've spent or the amount of time they've ordered, and you want to thank them, show them, give them a video. These people will generally, the lifetime value of these people is so high. So we want to treat them like royalty, and then just drip feed them some offers every couple of months or every couple of weeks, whatever. It really depends on your and what type of brand you have. Then a cross sell flow.
Can you zoom in on this like a little bit?
Yeah, I can, but I prefer not to because
Is this
it
your
will
actual
just
clients?
it doesn't matter that's our actual clients. It's just going to confuse people when they see like if we go in here, it just like it goes into like your shipping details. There's examples here. So it's just gonna pull people's eyes in different directions. Like, but this is like, we use this internally for like different structures, right? So you can see some emails there, and then you have like different kind of content suggestions, subject line, preview text, like triggers, filters, splits, smart sending. So but if I zoom in here, it's just gonna confuse people way too much.
Okay.
So That's cross-sell. And then phase four is sunset for re-engagement, site abandonment, different to a browse abandonment. Browse is product. This is just on your site, and an anniversary flow. So like a 3 month, 6 month, and 1 year anniversary. And then there's some extra flows you can do. Back in stock crushes it if your products sell out. Abandoned click, birthday flow, quiz flows. There's all these other flows that you can do. Um, so that's flows from a high level. And then let me just jump back over here. And then there's also like subscription flows you can do. So if you sell a consumable subscription product, you can do like subscription welcome, subscription reminder, subscription pause, and then subscription canceled and trying to win them back as well. Okay. So does anyone have any questions there on flows before I move on to campaigns?
Hi Jordan, how's it going?
Okay.
Quick question on phase one. So, the band and checkout. So we have a custom WordPress, so we're not capturing any emails, I suppose. So, what is there a way that you can do this in a way? That makes sense.
Yeah, well, we have some clients on WordPress. So if you have like WooCommerce connected, then you can definitely you can trigger all this stuff as well in your Klaviyo account. And if not, just like there's an app that you can definitely plug it into the checkout to trigger this and to send it to Klaviyo for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they need to opt in into the flow, essentially, like the welcome flow.
So
Where
the
you,
welcome would be via a pop-up or via an embed on your footer.
yeah,
So that would be the welcome trigger. Your abandoned checkout trigger would be when they get to the checkout and put in their email. And then obviously the customer thank you is when they purchase.
yeah, okay.
Okay, perfect. Is there any other questions on flows?
Yeah, hi Jordan. Thanks for all
Uh,
of this. What time frame are you usually leaving between the abandoned checkout emails?
yeah, so we always test this because it's different for different types of brands. Some brands want to be like, if it's higher ticket, we want to like have it longer. If it's like, a cheaper AOV, we want to push it a little bit more aggressive. But it all depends on the brand. Like you can see here, we have 20 minutes, 3 hours, 10 hours, 1 day, 2 days. So that would be quite typical, but we always A/B test this. Like we always A/B test it. And wait times are a good thing to A/B test. So generally we send one like within an hour, we send one within 3 hours, and then we send one the next morning. So we don't like we do so we make sure it's sent at like 8 a.m. the next morning. And no matter when it was, if they checked out at like 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. or 7 p.m., we have that email being sent the next morning, which is most of the time email number 3.
Okay, sweet. Thanks.
You're all good. Any other questions, guys, on flows? Okay, perfect. So we'll plow on to campaigns. So to make it simple, minimum you should be sending 12 campaigns a month. But for a lot of our clients, we're doing over 20 because we're sending to different segments and we're just pushing, more volume. Obviously, if someone's working with us, they're paying for agency services, so they want to maximize their email. But you can break this down to be quite simple, even if you're managing this yourself. You can break it down to like educational emails, which is obviously just educating people about your product. And there should literally be 100 angles that you should be able to do this. Like if you know your product, there should be unlimited angles that you can push in regards to features, benefits, different education that you can push. We've seen weekly series and newsletters do really good recently. Like this past year, we're doing them a lot, where we'll do like some sort of weekly email series, and then we can change it then every quarter. But we like to pick one day, one topic, and just push that. So it's kind of a mix of education plus we're trying to sell a little bit. And this does great. Like some examples here, it really depends on the brand. Like if it's supplements or if it's fashion, if it's fashion, you could do like Thursday outfits or something as simple as that, right? You can tie in more news or like different gossip things here. So you just want to get creative with it. But we found these get really, really good engagement, and it's really good for building community around your brand. The next then is more like sales or conversion emails. So emails that you're sending to just try and get sales, right? Like a product launch or a like restock or a limit availability or selling fast, different emails like that. And then, so these are kind of the different types of content, but then you have different types of emails as well. So you have your plain text emails, which are just, simple plain text. Literally, it is what it is. You have design emails, which are like beautifully designed in Figma. So if I was to show you some of our like client examples here, you know, now hopefully my computer doesn't bug out here, but you can see like different examples in here, right? So these are all like, you know, custom made universal elements in here. Some are like extreme design heavy, some are done differently, right? It all depends on kind of the brand and what type of assets they have and different things like that, right? And then you have hybrid emails, which I'm not sure this is what I just labeled them here. We call them Klaviyo emails. But these are basically emails that are just extremely simple and you're just leveraging like Klaviyo's elements and you're just having like images, text, and buttons. So it's kind of just like more of a hybrid, more simple emails. Okay. But there's no like real design elements in there or no like transparent elements. It's just like really, really simple. And some brands only do this and it works. But we found like having a good mix of the three works better. And then in regards to campaign examples, like I always say to people, you could send an email a day for a year and never send the same email twice, right? Like there's so many ideas out there. Some people just get stuck in a box of like you can only send like the same 10 or 20 emails. So there's a list of about 50 here. But to be honest, like if you know your brand, like every review can be an email, every benefit can be an email, every feature can be an email. There's just so many different angles. You know, opt into your competitors' emails, see what they're doing, leverage the different angles that they're doing, or you can just like look up on Google or even leverage AI to try and come up with some ideas, right? So that's campaigns. Tied to that then is segments. So these are different segments that you can send to. We always recommend, you know, getting at least 40% plus open rates. Open rates are extremely inflated nowadays with Apple privacy and stuff like that. So here's some different segments. I'm not going to list these all out. They're very self-explanatory. Like it doesn't take a genius to understand segments, but you can see them here. These are some segments to send to, and then these are some segments to exclude. And then yeah, I'll stop there and then I'll go on to kind of the last section. But does anyone have any questions around campaigns?
Not a question per se, but for all the guys that are working with us, what we've seen before is I think pretty much everyone here is getting graphics at least from us. A lot of clients are reusing the graphics that we've given them, which might be a concept like us versus them or USP call out, and they're actually using those graphics directly inside their emails and the
Yeah.
GIFs and using those concepts in their email. So it's like thoughtless piece of content comes from us. It's just like brilliant. That's an email as well as an organic post, as well as your ads and everything like that. So sometimes you are busy and we just take the thought out of it. You can cross use these pieces of content.
Yeah, and like your hook, Paul, what works in the creative hook is the email subject line, right? Or it could be the email headline. So you just want to reuse it. And they're like the whole reason email works is just people consume media differently. Like email has been going since, I don't know, like over 20 years now or even longer, right? And people are just used to using it. So some people consume stuff on social, some people consume stuff via video, some people consume stuff over email, right? I'm not really on social media. I just get all my brand information or updates via email. I know I'm an email marketer, but there's a lot of people out there. Even if you don't consume emails, there's a lot of people that do, right? And email's growing. I didn't show it here today, but like there's like a couple of billion people that are buying from email being added every single year. So the email like growth rate is, there's actually more people that use email every day compared to social. So it's like a massive market. So that's segments. A/B testing. Like here's some stuff you can A/B test. We've ran an abundance of A/B tests this year. We've done it. We've ran like thousands of A/B tests, and you get a lot of conflicting data where you could run one A/B test dozens of times. So what we're just trying to do now is we're just trying to simplify A/B testing, and then we're trying to run one A/B test across all of our clients, and we're doing that once a week, and then we're looking at the data then across tens of millions of people or millions of people compared to sending an A/B test to like 100,000 people, right? So I still recommend testing your pop-up, testing your core flows, and then testing like some of like key elements in your campaigns, like different CTAs and stuff like that, right? And then resources and tech. So I recommend everyone use Klaviyo. We actually don't use any other software. All of our clients use Klaviyo. There was talk about SendLane a while ago, but as I predicted, people had a lot of bad experiences, so I don't recommend it. And we use Figma for design, like I kind of already showed you. Tiny PNG, this is just to compress your image sizes. Get Elvar. This is basically a software that creates profiles for people. So if you have a big list, your browse abandonment and your abandoned cart could literally triple in revenue just by adding this software, because got to do with new policies now. A lot of profiles, when they view your site, they don't have the data, but Elvar basically pulls those profiles together, and then it like sets cookies or whatever around it. So it does really good, but only if you kind of have a big list. Data ships, this is just, and there's some other ones you can use here. This is just so you're compliant. If you have millions of people on your list, you want to make sure that you're compliant with opt-ins, especially if you're trying to sell your brand. It's really important that you're GDPR compliant. And if you sell in places like Germany and you don't have double opt-in or double verification turned on, you can get sued, and you can like, the Germans don't mess about. So you want to make, mainly if you're selling, you want to be data compliant. Mill.com, this is just a platform where you can see a bunch of email examples on your or in your industry. Just search up like you know, I just searched up supplements here and then just went United States. You can see a bunch of examples, right? We don't really use this, but I know it's helpful if you're just getting into email marketing. And then mail timers, I mentioned that. And then campaign calendars, which I mentioned, which is here, which I'll send the link to Paul, and Paul can send it out to people at the end. But that's really everything I've got. I wanted to try and get it done as soon as possible. Does anyone have any questions on that? I'll mention a couple of other things about our company, but does anyone have any other questions?
No questions, but there was a lot of sauce in that. So I'm definitely gonna share the link and share all those links to those examples, or whatever it is that we can get from you for everyone. We'll definitely share that after. I know there was guys that weren't able to make the call either that are really interested to see this stuff. But yeah, guys, any questions? Jordan's here. His whole mind is available right now. No question.
Yeah.
Too silly.
And then just wanted to add as well, we are like a partner of Lifelike. So if anyone does want us to hop in and audit their account, we'll obviously do that completely free of charge because you guys are working with Lifelike. So we'll hop in and we have like a checklist sheet that we'll go through, and it will actually give your brand a score in regards to like what we rate it out of 100 and what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. And then you guys can take it and run with it. Or if you want us to, if you want to learn more about what we can do, we can talk about that as well, right? But yeah, we're pretty busy on our end, but like I said, I do want to try and provide value for people here. If you don't have a lot of this stuff implemented and you're only getting started, an audit's not going to provide you much value. But if you have a lot of this stuff done already, then we can hop in and look at the finer details. But yeah, any other questions that pop up, you can say them to Paul, or you can there's a link here, so you can book in here for a free audit. You can check out our website here, or you can email me and I'll answer any questions that you have. But hopefully we've provided some value. It's I'm saying this stuff all day long, so to me this stuff seems quite simple. But I know for people that aren't really into email marketing or not doing it much, hopefully it's got a lot of ideas flowing, and hopefully you're already messaging your team, being like, we need to get this shit going.
Yeah, especially some of those guys that I know your products and I know where your brands are at, and I know you'll absolutely print if you implement some of these things. So just before we wrap up then, last chance for any cues. Just throw them in. Any questions, put your hand up, unmute yourself, jump in.
That was really, really useful, Jordan. We're only just starting our email, our marketing side of things. I think it was on our last audit with you. We set up our thank you and welcome flow, and it's just been such a really good start. So it's just trying to get more and more of that done. So yeah, a bit overwhelming, I suppose, but definitely lots to work on. So yeah, very optimistic. So thank you.
Appreciate it, Ben. You keep making those good pots.
I'll have to send you some down.
Yeah, 100%.
Just keep chipping away at it as well. Like, no one's expecting you to get to that level overnight or before Black Friday, but the things
it doesn't have to be complicated. Like, if I was to simplify it, just have your like phase 1 set up, and then just send 12 campaigns minimum a month. If you're doing that, like you're doing pretty okay. All the rest is just a cherry on top, and it's just gonna bring in a little bit more revenue. So there was a question there. Send times during the week. Do you see more success AM or PM UK based? So it really depends on your audience, because if you have like it depends on your audience. So we recommend just testing it. But we always just mix it up, right? Because people are always busy and doing different things. So we just mix up the sending time. Like for one brand recently, we actually had an internal error where we sent a campaign at midnight instead of midday, and it absolutely crushed it. So then we started testing that more for other brands, and then we seen like 11 p.m. or 12, like at midnight, was crushing it for a bunch of people. So like, because it's when like no one else is doing it. But if like Saturday nights, there's a lot of people up at 12 a.m. midnight. So why not send a campaign then? So it's just about getting creative. But
You get
there's
a few
no
glasses of
like,
wine as well. That's it. It's a
yeah,
good thing. Like,
100%. Yeah, like we have
yeah.
some funny angles. It depends on the brand as well. But yeah, I think the time isn't as important. Sundays and Thursdays always do good for send times late in the evenings, like 7 p.m. and onwards. But yeah, the most important thing is that you just have that campaign consistency going.
Cool, cool. Anything else then? Luke, did you have something to
No,
say?
no question for me. Thanks for all the information. It's a lot, but I think you will send everything, all the docs, Paul, so we can have a look over it later. But thanks for
Absolutely.
everything, and I
Yeah,
think it
I'm
was really
just
valuable, Jordan.
cheers. I appreciate it. I'm just gonna send the stuff in now, so people that are on the call get to take this information away now. So just if you are on your laptop, just copy and paste this stuff over, because otherwise it's gonna disappear. But
Last chance.
yeah, so
And then if you find it valuable, let us know because we did the CRO one and there was a lot to take away there. Now I've done the email one, and then we were thinking about doing one for finance. I think it's going to be too late for Black Friday, but these kind of breakaways because this is our sixth Black Friday, believe it or not, sixth time doing this as an agency, so we've been through the ringer a lot. Um, and I just want to. My network is quite good with the partners that we have. Everyone's very very talented and grown a lot of brands. So if I can share some of my network with you guys to just take pieces from it, that's super valuable. We may just be helping with the creative side, but Jordan can bring some value on the email, Paddy on the CRO, or like some of the finance guys. So we're in Slacks together as well. So if there's anything else that you're looking for, throw that into the Slack and we'll make sure that everyone's getting what they need to crush not only this Q4, but then Q5. Everyone mentions Q5, which is just the start of next
I've,
year.
I've never even heard of that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just the new year, new me crowd, and
Yeah.
people say it's not the best time to advertise because budgets after Christmas, but there's industries that absolutely crush. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I've pasted everything in there, guys. So feel free to, have a look at everything there. And the call link that I left at the end as well is a lifelike one. So if you do book in, I know that you've came from lifelike, so you'll get some different stuff. But yeah, that's everything. I appreciate everyone showing up. And yeah, any questions, just reach out to me via email and we'll take it there. Hope everyone crushes it in Q4, makes a bunch of money.
Let's
Thanks,
go.
Jordan.
Cheers.
Sweet.
Cheers, Jordan.
Talk soon. Bye bye.
All right.
Bye guys. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Paul.
You're
You
very
staying on
welcome.
for a second, Paul?
Yeah, I'll stay on.
Thanks for the